Hello Internet and welcome to something a little bit different. 2021 is drawing to a close and I thought I would take some time and talk about how my YouTube channel has progressed over the last year. Now I'm doing this a little early. It is December 20th as I record this, but I am getting sick at the moment and I wanted to record it before my sore throat progresses to I lost my voice. And if my voice doesn't sound quite right, that would be why that's happening. Anyway, last time I did this video released January 1st, 2021, so that's what we will be making comparisons to in this video. I also went over a lot of analytics last time, which I think most people find pretty boring, so we're going to be just brief with the numbers and then talk about my overall take on how I've been doing on YouTube. Now in the last year, I posted an additional 191 videos to the channel, bringing my total to 1,328 videos. This is kind of a lot even by gaming channel standards and is mostly a product of how I used to post just generic Let's Plays that were very easy to churn out. The drawback to doing that was that although the lack of editing allowed me to make more videos, they in general were pretty terrible. When I look back on old content, I'm mostly embarrassed that I even put those things on the channel at all, but I also would feel bad taking them down. Although, fun fact, I did take down about 12 or 15 earlier this year of what I considered the cringiest videos on the whole channel. But anyway, yeah, as for subscribers, I went from around 1,140 to now being at 1,986. I was really hoping to hit 2,000 before I made this video, but again, I'm feeling sick and wanted to get it recorded and out of the way before Christmas. So unfortunately, I'm still not at 2,000, but hey, if you're watching this, hit me with a sub, help me out. And this is an increase in subs by about 840 in the last year, which is pretty good by my standards, but honestly is really not that exceptional on YouTube as a whole. In terms of views and watch time, my numbers are basically identical to what they were last year. This is probably the most negative part of this whole video. For those that don't know, YouTube monetizes your channel based on the number of ad views received. Now, the majority of people do use ad blockers, so even if you get a decent number of views, you still can't earn that much money. And the fact that I've been stuck at around 14 to 16,000 views per month for a full year really doesn't bode well for me in terms of making any money. And of course, people always want to know what you've been paid for doing YouTube. As of the time of this recording, the answer is 0. I have never turned on monetization, although I did meet the requirements to do so. My plan was to do this by November, but a lot of stuff came up, namely a car accident, which took all of my money and prevented me from forming a business. And I'm really hoping to do this as early as possible in 2022, namely really as early in January if I'm able to scrape together the money to form the business. And I'm sure that when that happens, I will make a video when I do, because I also will be setting up a Patreon that I will want to point people to. But if you want me to guess how much I would make if I were monetized, well, probably between $20 and $50 per month at my current numbers. Now, I don't know that for sure, and I won't know until I see what my ad rates are. And again, a lot of people use ad blockers. Traditionally on YouTube, however, for gaming content, the recommendation is to estimate around $3 per 1,000 views. However, this information is old. When I looked online, it was all stuff from several years ago, and from what I have heard from larger content creators, the ad revenue has gradually gone up over the last few years. So again, I'm not going to know until I can see the actual ad rates and know kind of where things are. Anyway, let's now talk about my general take on the progress of the channel over the last year and how I think I've been doing in a more abstract sense rather than looking at numbers specifically. So unfortunately, it's impossible to talk about my progress without mentioning some of the issues I've had at home over the last year or two. To briefly recap, because I don't want this to be the focal point of the video, I live with family, and this used to include my brother, who starting back in like June or so of 2020 started deteriorating mentally. This led to pretty severe delusions that people were watching him, tapping his phone, recording him, things like that. Because I had YouTube equipment, I have microphones and things like that, and I would be in here talking to myself, I sort of became the focal point of his delusions. He believed that I was recording him, that I was talking to people about him, that I had tapped his phone. And this led to a series of confrontations and just difficulty in the house and so on and so forth. Now, as a result, it was very difficult for me to record for YouTube, and this led to a major downturn in new content. I just wasn't producing very much. And this continued for about a full year. This situation has only recently resolved itself around the end of September this year, which is when he left the household. Honestly, I was really depressed. I was uncomfortable recording because I knew he would stand outside my door and listen, and yeah, I just didn't produce very much. So overall on the channel, I produced very little content, at least by my own standards. And since I found it difficult to record, I focused on other things like putting together music tracks for videos and learning to edit better. I recorded less, but in my opinion, the quality of my content has gone up, I don't know, like 10,000%. My older videos had pretty bad audio and literally no editing at all. And if you watch any of my recent videos on the channel, you will see that the audio is mostly pretty okay, and that I've learned to use zooms and pans and things that just make the content a little less boring. And for those of you who are into video editing, here's a timeline from a recent video. You'll see that there's, about 1 billion cuts in the audio, multiple video tracks, etc, etc. Now towards the middle of the year, I also began releasing an updated tutorial series for Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead, and this has by far been the best content that I've ever made, at least in my opinion. They're ultimately pretty simple videos, but I think that they're just so much better than the old tutorial content on my channel, and I'm mostly really proud about how they turned out. And this included things like learning to animate some simple stuff like that, making graphics, and honestly I really enjoy doing those sort of things. So although the content has trended down in terms of videos released, I do believe that the videos in general are much better when it comes to quality. I've pulled away from making Let's Plays though, which is something that I want to get back to. They are much easier to make. A 10-minute tutorial video that is highly edited, it probably takes me at minimum 6 hours to make, which is obviously, very slow. A regular Let's Play might take me an hour from start to finish. And honestly, my audience, although they seem to be enjoying the tutorial videos, I have also been getting a lot of complaints. People really aren't happy that I'm doing informative videos instead of doing Let's Plays. I continually get questions about why I'm not playing games, and it seems like people are annoyed that I've changed my content even if they do enjoy the videos being edited better. And honestly, I think I'm approaching a tipping point where I need to start returning to proper gaming content, or I'm going to start losing viewership. Or at least I think it's been too long since I've done rapidly released videos, and I think it's starting to harm the channel. But in truth, I'm afraid to go back to the old style of videos. It's been so long since I did them, and with all the stuff that happened with my brother, I've receded into my depression. I worry that I'm not going to be entertaining, or that I'll end up talking about negative things, since my life has been pretty much exclusively negative over the last year. And that's not even mentioning the problems I've had at work, my car accident, other non-brother family issues, and of course the major death plague that has been ravaging the planet for the last couple of years. I don't know if I'm actually an entertaining YouTuber, and in a Let's Play I don't have a focused topic, it's just me talking to myself. I don't know if I can come back and do a good job or not. And that nervousness has kept me from moving forward. Like today, for instance, I made a note that I wanted to record this video and I wanted to start a Let's Play of Katana Zero. I saw a speedrun of it recently and it looked freaking awesome, so I wanted to play it, but I've also had that thing on my list for about 2 weeks and I've never even started the series. And I guess it's mostly that classic imposter stuff. Even though I see that I get views, even though I get positive comments, I feel like I'm bad at making content. Every now and then I make something I'm really proud of, but there are days when I think everything I do is garbage and that doing YouTube is just a waste of my time. Anyway, oops, there's that depression and whatnot that I was talking about. To pull things back and I guess wrap up the video, well, in summary, I guess my YouTube channel is doing fine. I'm having slow, incremental growth when it comes to subscribers, but my other numbers have just been kind of stagnating, holding steady. I need to increase the frequency of new videos, but have been dealing with a few mental blocks that make it really difficult to push forward. There's no virality to my channel, it's just slow and steady. Nothing takes off, but nothing really does terrible either. And I don't really know if this is sustainable in the long term. My goal was to meet the metrics to monetize within 3 years of starting the channel, and I did hit those requirements about 1.5 years into my YouTube career. My only other goal was to know if this was a viable full-time gig by 5 years of doing it. Not be full-time, you understand. I just wanted to know if, within 5 years, I wanted to know if it was a possibility. And the 5-year mark for me would be March-ish in 2024, so there's still quite a long way before then. Anyway, okay, I'm starting to get that feeling of like, what was the point of this video? So maybe we should wrap this up. I hope that the video was worth watching. I know people always seem to be curious about YouTube analytics and channel growth, money talk, things like that. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll be back with more content in the near future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.